Welcome to Soltron. This is a video review for Miniforce Scien Cop. Here's a size comparison with other Miniforce figures and one more and a transformer. Box art for Scien Cop, it is pretty accurate to the way he looks. It is also gigantic compared to how big he actually is. And then his CGI model, pretty spot on, I would say. It's very accurate. And the instructions, nothing exciting, just newsprint. Okay, and let's get a 360 view of this guy, and you can see there's definitely a face on his back. But overall, pretty interesting looking robot mode. I really enjoy the aqua color. I think he's got a pretty good aesthetic, and he's got a lot of clear plastic, which is really great. But overall, I would say the other, like the Fire Cop, Patrol Cop, or whatever this one is, I'd say those guys have the better aesthetic. I just really don't think there's a comparison. This guy looks so cool. He looks like a paladin with a shield and a hammer. And this guy, I'm not sure what they're going for. He's got like these repeating, I don't know, machine guns kind of is what they look like. Or maybe they're like gas guns or something, like some kind of scientific weapon. And he's got, if we zoom in on his head here, he does have kind of a gas mask thing going on. These are like the air filters. So he kind of looks like that. But it doesn't really scream scientist to me, even if you put like the microscope on his chest. Like he's just got these two giant laser cannons. And then technically these are supposed to be underslung, which does not look better to me. Like it just makes his arms look more ape-ish and really disturbs his proportions. It just doesn't really work out, and it's already hard for him to aim these things. So this, like, he's shooting from his knee. Like, how accurate can you be, really? I guess you can get it up here. But yeah, it's not great. It doesn't look right, him shooting from here. It looks okay. But yeah, the guns themselves do look really cool. Like I said, I do appreciate the clear plastic. It looks like they might be full of some kind of chemical weapon or something. So pretty good, cool looking weapons. And then he does have this other weird thing where he's got like this flip up panel. Maybe these are like supposed to be wrist mounted displays that he checks in on so he can like do reports or whatever. I guess that's what they're for, because they don't really serve a purpose in his alt mode. So I guess that's kind of cool, is that he can like view records of his enemies or whatever. So not bad overall. Pretty cool guy. It would have been nice if this would have just came off and became a shield. It already looks a lot like a shield, but it's supposed to hide the face in the back, so what can you do? But yeah, articulation on this guy is really easy. So he's got ball joint neck, and it has a lot of range, so that's very nice. And then he's got these ball joint shoulders, which 360. You can get all the way up here thanks to like some double joints. He's got interesting elbows that do give him more than 90 degrees, but they look very awkward. He does not have bicep swivel. So his arms at rest look okay. So that's not too bad. But yeah, when you bend his elbow, everything just looks kind of weird. His elbows are very odd for transformation. And he does have ball joint hips, so you can get full range of motion on these, except for the back where the face gets in the way. And then he does have about 90 degrees on the knee, almost 90, not too bad. And then he only has like toe point for transformation, and then no waist. So a little bit limited articulation, but kind of what you would expect from Miniforce. Transformation is really easy. You're just going to fold these shoulders panels in. And then he's got this weird joint which telescopes in and out. So I don't know if for robot mode these are supposed to be all the way out. I think that's what they're supposed to be, but then you get these spindly, ugly things. So I like to keep them in a little bit so he looks more bulked up. And then you can raise this back panel. and then you raise up the arms on their double joints and their double shoulders. And then you can see this clip here clips into the inside of his elbow. So we just do that to get like his, I don't know what you call that, cheek articulation. And then there's a lot going on in his legs. You got to fold down his knee pads. You've got to open these vented panels in the back, fold up his heels, close those again, and then you fold his toes all the way up. And then finally, you sandwich his legs together, and you can see all of this is just going to become the back of the skull, clips nicely into place in these two slots. And then this clips down. And then supposedly these little notches are supposed to go in here, but there's just no way. The only way I can get it to do is by taking this peg off. But yeah, it's just not going to go in there. It refuses, but that's fine. You get a pretty cohesive looking head. You're also going to rotate these forward, and these are like the breathing apparatus. And then you take his guns, and these telescope down. You're going to fold up the peg for holding them. And then these are just going to peg on to the side of the head here to make, I don't know, they look like kind of like flashlights or something. And there you go, there's his whole head. So looks pretty good, like a small or big version of his robot head. So interesting head sculpt, looks very clean from all angles. I do appreciate that. Like this, the back and the side of the head profile look really excellent. Like he cleans up very nicely. But yeah, pretty good looking head sculpt. He does come with this little police badge, which you can open up and then like clip into your belt and close it. And then it does have like a neck joint that normally his neck attaches right here. You'll see that in a minute. But yeah, there's his head mode compared to the cop one. You can see he's much dirtier in the back. It's just a lot of kibble, whereas his back of the skull looks really excellent. So great looking helmet. So that's about it for this review. So you get this giant head, and this guy was, I think, at least $50, which is way too much for something that's a little bit smaller than a Voyager class. He's just way too expensive for what you get with all the ball joints. Like the plastic is very cool and all, but he's just too expensive. So I wouldn't recommend this figure unless you're really into these, especially because you just got this giant head. But there is a reason I bought this. Okay, and this is what I've been working on. And then finally, we've got a body that is proportional there he goes, to these Miniforce figures. So here he is in all of his glory. And here's the fire cop that you might have seen earlier that I made into Grandis. So I put both their heads to good use. But yeah, this is what he looks like so far. You might recognize the parts from a helicarrier because he is going to turn into, as usual with all my customs, I've been making a lot of Titan-sized aircraft carriers. So this guy will also become an aircraft carrier. And then here he is with the cop head on, which doesn't quite fit the neck. But there you go. You can see he's like the ultimate Miniforce cop. And I think the proportions work out pretty perfectly. Yeah, really pleased with how this guy's coming along. But anyway, I'll see you in the next one.